The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Shawn Smoak, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoak, licensed realtor with eXp Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Smoak Report. As always, my name is Evan Smoak, and here are your scores for September 29, 2023. Applin wins a barn burner in Blackshear. Pirates kick a game-winning field goal with 4 seconds left. Bears almost made a comeback, ran the kickoff all the way down inside the 10, but the Pirates called him. It's a big win for Applin County. They take control of region play, 17-14 in favor of Applin. Red Raiders go on the road to Dublin and get a big win over East Lawrence, 42-8. Toom blanks the Brantley County Herrings 42-0 at home in Lyons. Brunswick bounces back from their loss in the city championship last week to Glen Academy. This week in Glen County Stadium, they blank region opponent Grovetown 42-0. The Dublin Fighting Irish defeat the Charlton County Indians 41-7. Effingham gets a huge win at home in Springfield as they roll over the Glen Academy Red Terrors 49-3. Frederica falls on the road to Tatnall Square Academy as they defeat the Knights 41-13. Jeff Davis defends home turf as the Yellow Jackets defeat Berrien County 29-15 in the home stadium of Hazelhurst over in Jeff Davis. Liberty defeats Groves of Savannah 41-0. McIntosh County Academy takes care of business once again as they defeat the Atkinson County Rebels 52-0 on the coast in Darien. Phoenix pushed the Cadets to the edge, but Benedictine ends up winning 39-31. Benedictine stays undefeated and the proverbial 4A favorites. Scriven County goes over to Guyton. South Effingham gets a big win, 21-0 over Scriven County. Former Ware County head coach Franklin Stevens is doing great things at his alma mater up in Burke County. The Bears are 6-0 as they defeated the Wayne County Yellow Jackets 37-32. Thank you guys so much for another week. Like I said, we're in the middle of the season. There's a lot of buys right now. But as always, my name is Evan Smoak. If you guys got some smoke to give me, I'm here to take it. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Go Dogs.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Shawn Smoak, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how we doing?
Doing good, Shawn. Good to be talking high school football with you again, and I know you know it, but just in case our viewers don't know it, some intriguing matchups here around Southeast Georgia this year or this week. Maybe some matchups we didn't think would be as intriguing when the season started. But we got a couple of matchups where there's two ranked teams going at it. And I know I'm really excited to see how some of these games turn out for sure.
Yeah, it looks like you're enjoying the outdoors there over on the beautiful St. Simon's Island. I know it's a beautiful day. Matter of fact, I thought about setting up outside, but I was like, man, that's too much stuff to move. So I'm here in the cave. So, but we're going to get her done. And the first game that we're going to start off with, Kevin, is our game of the week. We've got the Richmond Hill Wildcats, who are going to travel down to Chris Gilman Stadium to take on the Camden County Wildcats. And I had the pleasure of doing both of these podcasts this week, so I got a chance to talk to both coaches. Both coaches feel good about their chances. You look at Richmond Hill. Richmond Hill's got 2 losses on the season, Kevin, but both to the number 1 team in 5A at the time that they played those games. They lost to Ware County, who was number 1 at the time, and then they lost to Coffee County, who was number 1, at the time. So 2 good losses, if you can have good losses on your resume for Richmond Hill. And then Camden's only 1 loss, that 4-point, I think it was a 4-point loss to Brunswick, second game of the season. Camden's been playing really well. When I did coaches podcast today, I went back and looked at some numbers. Kevin, they're only giving up 11 points a game, and they're scoring 38, almost 39 points a game. So Camden's got some things going in the right direction. So it'll be interesting to see how this first game of Region 1-7A shake out this week in the battle of the Cats.
Well, first of all, you probably could do this game breakdown without me because you have all the insight from talking to the coaches, and I know Robbie appreciates you filling in for him on that Richmond Hill Wild podcast. And then I needed you to fill in for me at the last minute on the Camden podcast. Can't really speak for Matt Lazat, but I can speak for Jeff Herron. He was probably glad to get away from me for not only 1 week with his off week last week, but it was probably a bonus for him to get away from me for this week too. I'm sure he mentions that somewhere. I'll have to make sure I listen to it for sure to get his dig at me. But let's get to the football here, Shawn. Obviously, this is what both of these teams have been counting down to region play. They're getting started, I guess, a couple of weeks later than some other teams around the area because they're in a small region. 4 region games for these guys to play. Obviously, they'll play each other. Then they'll all play Colquitt, Valdosta, and Lowndes. But this is the first one, and you can't go undefeated in the region without winning this one. But this could go a long way just right out of the gate for helping both teams possibly, get into that playoff hunt, get into that top 4. But I've seen both of these teams, and you have as well. Richmond Hill, I was impressed with several weeks ago in that Border Classic. I thought they had several ways to move the football, several ways they could hurt you on offense. And I thought they were pretty tough and physical in defensively in that game I saw against Creekside out of Florida. But had a close game a couple of weeks ago with New Hampstead. Came back, and I'm not necessarily surprised that they got beat by Coffee, but it looks like they got handled pretty good in a physical matchup, 21-0. But Camden, Shawn, I saw them against Brunswick. Obviously didn't play their best in that game. Brunswick came out shooting on all cylinders, or firing on all cylinders in that ball game. Got off to a hot start and rode that to a win. And Camden shot themselves in the foot that night. But just the very next week, I saw Camden against Glen Academy, a much better team against Glen that night. Glen missed a lot of tackles, but Camden looked much better on both sides of the ball. And starting from there as my benchmark, I guess, watching them go through the season since then, they have gotten better. I think they've really gelled up front offensively. I think they've got the quarterback situation settled. They obviously have a lot of guys that can carry the mail for them in the backfield. A couple of big-time playmakers they always want in the Daly kid and the Riddle kid to make plays for them, but they, bring a bevy of backs at you. And defensively, I think they've gotten, a lot better across the board too, particularly up front. And I think that might be where they win this ball game, Shawn, is in the trenches. Again, Richmond Hill, a good-looking offense. I think they're going to have to mix up their play calling, keep this Camden defense off balance. But if Camden gets ahead in this game, watch out, because I know they'll reel that offense in and milk that clock and just move those chains. I'm pretty sure that's probably their game plan. And Jeff Herring and the Wildcats aren't going to care if they win this one 17-14 or 43-40. They just want to win the ball game. But I think at the end of the day, I think Camden's defense might make the difference in this one.
Yeah, they are pretty stout there. They got two players on that all 912 sports team from the beginning of the year. You mentioned Riddle. He's a safety as well. And then, of course, the Nigel Cooper there on the defensive line. So they are pretty stout. But like I said, Coach Matla's he's pleased with his team. You go back, Kevin, that close game to New Hampstead making a little bit better sense now after New Hampstead gave Benedictine all they wanted this past weekend, and we'll get to that game a little bit later on. But so they're a formidable foe, and Richmond Hill was able to win that game. So it's going to be a dogfight down in Chris Gilman Stadium. But somebody's going to have a leg up on making the playoffs after that. Whoever wins that game on Friday night. So being interested to see how that one shakes out. But let's move on, Kevin. Talk about another battle of the undefeateds. We've got a number 9 team playing a number 2 team as Toombs travels to Appling County. Appling coming off that big win over Pierce County, one of the best high school football games I've seen in a long time, Kevin. 17-14. Appling kicks a field goal with 4 seconds on the clock, and all they do is kick off to Pierce, and Pierce runs it all the way back down to the 7-yard line. Just couldn't get it in the end zone to win the game, but a great high school football game. And then Toombs coming off that big dismantling of Brantley County by a final score of 42-0. Toombs playing some really good football, got a new coach, got a new quarterback, got a new system, but they're clicking on all cylinders there. If this game was going to be in the Pit in Lyons, I would maybe have a little bit different feel, but going over to Jimmy Swain Stadium over in Bax, it's a tough place to play. We'll see if Toombs can get it done or how well they can play against the number two team in AA, which I still think is the number 1 team, but that's the Appling County Pirates.
Yeah, obviously, when I talked about matchups that have materialized at this point in the season, and we didn't know, how attractive they were going to be, this was one of those. And that's largely or really all because of what Toombs is doing. We knew Appling would be this good. But, yeah, we got a 6-0 Toombs team going up against a 1-loss Appling team, which their loss was, out of classification to Ware County, a bigger school. Toombs 2-0 in the region early on. Appling, 1-0 with that win over Pierce, I guess. But it is 2 versus 9 in those AA state rankings, depending on what poll you look at. But when you look at this Toombs team, Shawn, they've only given up 28 points all year. Now, they gave up, I think, all 28 points in their first 2 ball games, 22 in their opener, I believe, and then 6 after that in game 2. They've had 4 straight shutouts. But the thing is, we know that Appling is big, huge, physical on both sides of the ball. We know they're really good on defense too, and points are hard to come by against them. And we've seen the schedule they have played, and they are certainly battle tested. And I look for, if Toombs is going to win it, they're going to have to win it with their defense and keep Appling off the scoreboard. But don't forget that Appling defense is tough as nails too. So, I think if Appling can put 20 points on the board, I think that's probably going to be good enough for them to win this ball game.
I think Toombs, the only way they win this game, Kevin, is a pick six or a kickoff return or a punt return or a scoop and score or something like that. They're going to have some of those extra points to be able to get past the Pirates, but we'll see how it shakes out over there on Friday night. Moving right along, Kevin, we got Bacon going to travel to Johnson County. Bradwell is going to play Coffee. Coffee, the number one team in 5A for the first time last week, for the first time in history, according to Georgia High School Daily. So, and then we've got another game, Kevin, that was scheduled for Friday, but we just got some breaking news, a game that's not going to be played, and that is Windsor Forest at Brantley County. This was Brantley County senior night. When I talked to Coach Cannon, they were really excited about senior night, but understand why this game's not getting played. Windsor Forest lost a JV player Monday afternoon, tragically lost his life, and so Windsor Forest has made the decision not to play this football game. And I wholeheartedly understand and agree with that decision, but Brantley is now actively seeking to see if they can maybe make this game up or maybe pick up a different opponent for their open week coming up on October the 27th, I think is what that is. But anyway, we'll check that out and see how that shakes out. But that game will not be played. So if you're planning on going to Caney Bay this Friday night, you're going to have to find something else to do there. But the next game we want to talk about, Kevin, is Brunswick at Lakeside Evans. I bring this up because with Glenn getting beat last week against Effingham, every game that's played in this region now just becomes more important. And so Brunswick has to stay on the winning side of the ledger. I know that Lakeside Evans is not the powerhouse team that, would worry you that much, but still, Kevin, you got to get on that bus. You got to ride 3 hours north to play a decent football team. So Brunswick's got to be on their A game Friday night as they go up there to Lakeside Evans.
Yeah, and, Brunswick came back last week, bounced back in a big way after that loss to Glenn. In the city championship game here in Glenn County a couple of weeks ago, came back and looked much better again against Grovetown last week, won 42-0. Real effective offensively, throwing and running the football, very balanced. Got good play again out of their overall defense, but particularly their defensive line. Really got after the quarterback and did a good job against the run. And of course, the whole defense for Brunswick pitched a shutout, but let's see if Brunswick can get on that bus, make that long trip up. Friday is the start of fall break, but for the football players, they got some business to tend to Friday evening before they can go on fall break for the rest of the weekend. And I think they might get Monday off of practice if things go well. But for Brunswick, obviously, they're off next week, so this again is a chance to try to stay on the right track, stay on firm footing. I was impressed with the way they cut down on their penalties, from that Glenn game. And they went one-on-one, good on goods in practice and, had a tough week of practice going into last week's game. And it sounds like they're going to do some similar stuff the rest of the season. So, obviously Brunswick kind of got off track as far as their season plans go with losing that game to Glenn Academy. And right now they can finish anywhere from first to third in the region. Even with a tiebreaker, they can still finish third. Depending on how things shake out. So they got to take care of their own business to see where it goes from there. But I think if they get on that bus and come off that bus in the right frame of mind, they win this one going away.
Yeah, I think so too. So moving on, we got Charlton's going to travel over to Turner County. Charlton's still looking for a win, Kevin. Things not going so good down there in Folkestone this season. And the game we want to talk about is Clinch versus Lanier. Clinch County is doing Clinch County things this year. Did lose one earlier this year. They coming off an open week. But Lanier County came into last week's game against Pelham, Kevin, 4-0 on the season, was in great shape to have this game at home and be undefeated, but they drop a game to Pelham. That final score was 40-23, and the reason so is they gave up 404 yards, Kevin, rushing, and Ken Williams, the big senior running back for Pelham, puts 307 yards on the board and 5 touchdowns. So if our buddy down the road over here and Jeremy Bell gets hold of the ball for Clinch County, look out, because he could have a big night if Ken Williams does that to Lanier. They better be keyed on Mr. Jeremy Bell, or they're going to be in for another long night there over in Lanier County.
Yeah, well, again, this is one of those matchups where it's more attractive now than what we thought it might be when the season started. But you got 5-1 Clinch against 4-1 Lanier. Clinch ranked number 5 in the class. Lanier number 9. You're right. They gave up a lot of points and a lot of yards last week, and they had been playing good defense. I mean, they shut out a McIntosh County Academy team a couple of weeks ago that might have been down some of their firepower, but still a team that is very physical on both sides of the ball, and they shut them down and won that game 10-0. But when you look at this Lanier team, I think still they've given up less than 60 points, defensively all year. Now here's this Clinch team with the Bell kid putting up points, and they're averaging, I think, right under 32 points a game. So I think the matchup in this game is the Clinch offense versus the Lanier defense. That's kind of the drawing card, the marquee matchup in this ball game, and then we'll see kind of what comes of it.
Well, Kevin, we got some more games on the other side of the break, but let's take a quick pause here, and we'll pay some bills, but we'll come right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Shawn Smoak. He's Kevin Price, and we're now going to wrap up the previews for 10-6. The games here in the 912 area. The first game we're going to talk about, Kevin, is Effingham at Grovetown. Grovetown coming off that big loss to Brunswick this past Friday night. But Effingham coming off a big win over Glenn Academy, solidly put themselves in the driver's seat, Kevin, right now for that region championship there in Region 2 6A. But I tell you, that game at the end of the season where Brunswick's got to go to Effingham just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And bigger. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But if Effingham can keep winning, all eyes are going to be on Springfield that last week of the season to watch that game. But I want to give a big shout out to Nate Hayes. Nate Hayes was our Coastal Pines Technical College player of the game. Nate was 8 for 9 for 183 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. And oh, by the way, for good measure, had another 49 yards rushing with another 2 touchdowns on the night. So big night there against the Glenn Academy Red Terrors. But I look for Effingham to kind of stay on the roll and take care of business there with Grovetown.
Yeah, they're not losing again in the region play. Short of Brunswick. Brunswick's not losing before they get to Effingham. So they'll be meeting in the final game of the regular season with high stakes, in a high stakes game, same as the last couple of years.
Right.
The difference is Effingham can win it outright this year, or if Brunswick wins, it could possibly be a 3-way tie, even with Glenn Academy if they were to get back on the winning track starting this week. But obviously that big ball game looming between Effingham and Brunswick, but write it down. Neither one of those teams lose again until they play each other.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Robert Toombs Academy is going to be playing Frederica this Friday night. This Thursday night under the Oaks over there on St. Simon Isles. I believe it's Frederica's homecoming. This game will be played tonight, so check it out if you're looking to go see a football game tonight. South Effingham at Glenn is going to be the next game that we're going to talk about, Kevin. And Glenn really, and I think Rocky said it best on his podcast, Kevin. He said they stuck the joint up, and they really did. I mean, I thought Glenn would go over there. I knew it was going to be a tough game. I knew it was going to be tough to get over that high of beating Brunswick and winning the city championship. But man, I did not look for them to go over there and just basically not show up and getting beat 42-3. That kind of what the scoreboard says. But now they got to pick themselves back up, Kevin. They do get to come back to the friendly confines of Glenn County Stadium this Friday night. But listen, South Effingham's no slouch. I mean, that's a pretty good team that Coach Purvis has put together. They can score on the offensive side of the ball. Glenn was not really good at stopping offenses last week, so we'll see how that game shakes out. But could be a big one there. And of course, you'll be on the call over there at Glenn County Stadium Friday night.
Well, South Effingham 4-1 on the season, 0-1 in the region. Of course, that was a loss to Effingham a couple of weeks back, the same night that Glenn beat Brunswick, as a matter of fact. But if you're looking at scores, South Effingham lost to Effingham 42-7. Glenn lost to them last week 49-3. I know there was some discrepancy about that score, whether it was 42-3 or 49-3, but it was 49-3. But either way, however you slice it, it could have been 36-3 or 63-3. Glenn was awful defensively, and their head coach is on record as saying that. It wasn't one thing. It wasn't missed tackles. It wasn't just broken, busted coverages. It was a little bit of everything. If you could do it wrong, Glenn did it wrong defensively last week. And then offensively, they missed some chances to maybe capitalize on some opportunities early in the ball game. Hindsight, of course, is 20/20, but they could have had at least a couple of touchdowns on the scoreboard, if not 3, and been in the ball game anywhere from 28-14 to 28 all maybe. But instead, it was 35-3, I think, at the break, and the writing was already on the wall. The fat lady was warming up just outside the stadium, ready to come over the loudspeakers and end the night as soon as she could for the Red Terrors. But different game this week. They've got to flush that one, aside, put it behind them, and, get ready for the rest of the way. And that starts for right here for Glenn Academy, of course, South Effingham looking for their first region win. But here it is, Shawn, a South Effingham offense that runs the wing tee. Glenn's seen that before against Camden. So preparation may be a little bit easier from that standpoint. But from what I understand, they like to keep the ball, keep it away from you. So Glenn's mission number 1 is going to be able to get off the field as quick as possible and get as many possessions as they can for their own offense. So look for maybe Glenn's third down defense to be critical in this ball game. And then, Glenn sort of had a makeshift offense all season, Shawn. They went early on without Greg Peacock. Of course, he was limited and then came back. But now he separated the shoulder in that Effingham game. So it was kind of adding insult to injury there, losing that ball game, then losing him. Looks like he's going to miss the rest of the season now with a separated shoulder. They need to get him healthy and get geared up for hopefully a big senior season. But Willie Butler's going to have to tote the mail now for him in the backfield. It looks like they're going with the Jaden Ellis kid more so at quarterback than Ryan Schoeneman. He'll play elsewhere, but still see some time at quarterback. So Glenn's had trouble at times mounting consistent drives, and that's been a problem offensively. And it's time for them to take what they have and get some consistency going for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we'll see which one of these teams can bounce back from losing to Effingham. And like I said, if Glenn wants to be a part, Kevin, of that 3-way tie we're talking about at the end of the season, they got to win ball games. So they can't afford to lose anymore. So
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Jeff Davis going to travel over to Dodge County. That'll be a big game. And another Thursday night game, a game being played right now, Kevin. Savannah Country Day is at Liberty. The Panthers are trying to stay on the winning side of the ledger. And then Lone County is going to travel over to Beach. MCA's got to travel to Jenkins County. MCA, last time they went on the road, Kevin, didn't turn out well for them. So let's see if they can get a road win. And then, of course, the next game we want to talk about is New Hampstead at Southeast Bullock. This is a 4A region contest here. Southeast Bullock is part of that region over there. New Hampstead, and we talked about it a little bit, Kevin, at the top of the show. talking about that Richmond Hill victory over New Hampstead. New Hampstead just has come to life offensively, Kevin. Had a very, very good game against Benedictine. Did not win that game, but listen, give Benedictine everything they wanted. Lost that game. I think it was 39-31. I was in it pretty much the whole way, but man, what a night for Rayshawn Terrell. I'll just read off some numbers here right now. And this is in a losing cause. He was 25 for 42 with 533 yards passing. He had a quarterback rating, Kevin, of 125.6. He threw a touchdown pass of 40 yards, a touchdown pass of 52 yards, a touchdown pass of 57 yards, and a touchdown pass of 55 yards for good measure. So had 5 touchdowns on the night. And really the only 2 negatives that he had is he did lose 2 fumbles on the night, but just about played a flawless football game. But New Hampstead comes up just a little bit short, but I think they can get it done against Southeast Bullock this Friday night.
Well, Shawn, maybe we'll do a separate show one night on quarterback ratings, but I'll let you handle that one. I'll take the night off.
I know because I read it.
But anyway, yeah, this New Hampstead team certainly looked good offensively last week. Over 500 yards of offense. BC had less than 300. So, the stat that matters most is what's on the scoreboard.
Exactly.
And that was 39-31. BC gets it done again, but BC had a pick 6 against New Hampstead and also returned a fumble against New Hampstead. I think both of those were early in the ball game. I was talking to Kevin Thomas, who works with us as well. I think BC hardly had the ball in the first half because New Hampstead kept it, and they scored defensively, and that kept their offense off the field as well. But New Hampstead has certainly played a tough schedule right here. In the latter part of the early stages of the season. Lost big to Camden, but gave Richmond Hill all they wanted. And obviously, we're right in there with a great Benedictine team last weekend. So I don't think Southeast Bullock's in that same caliber, but if they can lick their wounds and get ready to go again, I think New Hampstead has a chance to get it right the ship, put up yards, and maybe put up a lot of points and win the ball game.
Hey, that's shaping up to be a really, really good region, Kevin, with Wayne and Burke and Benedictine and New Hampstead. That's a really, really talented 4A region, so we'll keep our eye on that. Pierce County's open this week after losing the heartbreaker to Appleton County 17-14 this past Friday night. Greenbrier is going to go on the road to take on Statesboro in a big region contest. And then the game we're going to talk about is Ware at Jenkins. Ware coming off back-to-back losses, Kevin, both to 4A schools. Listen, the Gators, they got to right the ship here. I mean, they've got to get some things going in the right direction. I'm not real sure what's going on with the Ware County Gators, but you don't lose back-to-back games if you're the Ware County Gators, and especially don't lose it to 4A schools. I know both these 4A schools are very talented, but still, you're the 5A defending state champ. You're supposed to win those games. And they got to go to Jenkins. Got to go to Memorial Stadium over there in Savannah, real nice facility to play Jenkins. And listen, Jenkins played Wayne County really, really tough, Kevin, 2 weeks ago. That game was 9-0. So Wayne County was only able to put up 9 points on the board after they put up 32 playing Burke last week. So Jenkins got a pretty stout defense. We'll see if, Ware still got that woe is me mentality with their head hung low after losing 2, or if they can get up off the mat and start to charge into the playoffs.
Well, a lot of coaches, like to go with the cliche, it's a new season. So maybe for Ware County, going into region play, maybe they can use that and make something of it. It is a new season for them. I guess everybody is 0-0 in the region, so they have a chance to win out again and win a region championship and then go into the state playoffs, hopefully with a lot of momentum. But if you're looking at games where they would be favored in the rest of the way, this is certainly one. I think Jenkins, you mentioned their defense, but they've only scored, Shawn, I think 62 points all year, and 41 of those came in a game against Bluffton, I think in the second or third week of the season. So Ware has lost the last two good teams. Nothing shabby about those 2 teams at all, Benedictine and Bainbridge, of course. But, never did I expect Ware County to lose back-to-back games this year. I don't care who they were. So I know, Shawn, the main objective is to win the ball game. But I know the Ware County coaches are going to have their eyes on a lot of other things across the board, just whether they win or lose. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. Because I mean, really, you're not going to get tested again. And listen, no disrespect to Bradwell, Greenbrier, or Jenkins, they're just not on the same level as Ware County. All eyes right now looking 4 weeks down the road when Ware ties up with Coffee County and Memorial Stadium. That, for all practical purposes, Kevin, will be for that region championship, and it'll be for seeding, going into the state playoffs. So, like I said, Ware's got to do what they got to do to get better over the next 3 weeks. So when they do meet Coffee County, that they're ready to handle the challenge, because Coffee's in the same boat. Whereas they're not going to lose again until that game. They're going to come into Memorial Stadium, the number one ranked team in 5A, pretty much with a perfect record at that point, and we'll see who can come out the victor that night. But that will definitely be a really, really intriguing game. And then the last game on the night, Kevin, Wayne at Islands. I mean, this is an easy win for Wayne County. Wayne County played a heck of a ball game last week, coming back against Burke County. Just kind of ran out of time. I think the final score in that game was 39-32, 37-32, something like that. But, Wayne gave Burke everything that they wanted up there in Burke County. And like I said, so they've really got some things figured out, evidently. I don't know how you score 9 points against Jenkins one week and then go score 32 against Burke the next. But evidently they figured out a few things, and we'll see if Wayne can keep that train rolling. Because if Wayne keeps those scores in the 30s, they're going to win a lot of football games. They still got to play New Hampstead, and they still got to play Benedictine, but those kind of numbers can beat either one of those teams. We'll just see how the season shakes out. But that's going to do it for this week's show, Kevin. I appreciate everybody watching. We do have a little bit more of the show, so y'all stick around. We'll be right back here next week. But thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.